From Columbia Valley, Washington, Umbris. That sexy label. There's like nothing, no bullshit getting in the way. They just, here's a strip, tells you what it is.
No animals.
Umbris, which is an excerpt from a further statement on the back that I will pass on to my Latin-speaking friend.
Umbris et imaginibus in veritatem.
From shadows and images into truth. So the wine Umbris is from shadows. This is Owen Rowe. This is David O'Reilly, the winemaker, who we've covered previously with the Corvidae wines. That's like their entry-level stuff. It is 100% Syrah. The origins of this particular wine were because in 2002, there was a wildfire in Washington, and all the ash and soot and stuff like drifted off and settled into the soil. And so the vines, like, they just soak that shit up. They made the wine and people were flip over it. They demanded, like, you got to make this every year. We got to remember this Umbris because that was the shit. So even though it doesn't necessarily have those smoky, ashy things going on anymore, you still have this wine, you still have this awesome wine. We've been drinking it.
We've been drinking.
If you can't tell.
We've been drinking.
And
you got to drink the wine before you review the wine.
Thought it had a lot of blueberry and raspberry to it. It's got a lot of spice. Oh, and don't forget the plum. You were mentioning the plum.
Plum? Plummy.
Really well structured, really well put together wine.
I kind of wonder how it would have been tasting the actual forest fire.
That'd be cool. It'd be cool to go back and buy a bottle of that first vintage of this. But they probably charge so much for it that we could never afford it if we saved up for it for the rest of our lives.
Well, why don't we just go burn down a forest in Washington State and then they can make it again?
Yeah, we could try that too, or we could.
Shit, I really hope a forest does not burn down there
We
tomorrow.
could go to David O'Reilly's.
You smoke, you can make it look like an accident.
Yep, I didn't mean to, officer. I was just.
So yeah, if a forest does start on fire in Washington
we
State,
didn't do it.
there's no way we could have got there. Well, it makes us want ham really bad. You know, we usually talk about music that we would pair it with, but we would also pair this with ham.
Yeah, not just John ham.
One of those big ass like Easter hams, like got the bone still in the middle.
It's gross enough that we eat flesh off of bone. Like, that's fucked up. If you really think about it, it's like Jeffrey Dahmer wasn't so bad.
Yeah, it was.
No, why? Because it wasn't a ham, it was Conarac synthesimpone.
Yeah, pretty much exactly that reason, yeah.
What if you named your pig Conarac synthesimpone?
Well, if I had a pet pig, I wouldn't kill it and eat it.
There you go. What would you give the Umbris?
Well, okay, since it's, you know, coming out of the shadows and into the light, I'm going to give it 5 of those energy-efficient, weird, twisty light bulbs that cost like $10 each. 5 of those. Out of 5.
I'm going to give this wine 5 out of 5 post-punk revivalist albums.
There we go.
So we're going to pair this wine with Interpol. Turn on the bright lights because you're coming out of the shadows. Turn on the bright lights.
But the transitive property Interpol also makes me want ham.
Oh, there's a song on Turn on the Bright Lights called Hands Away where he delivers a really embarrassing line. He says, will you put my hands away? Will you be my man? Serve it up, don't wait. Let's see about that ham. So I guess the pairing was meant to be.
Wow. What do you know?
Yep.
All right, so Interpol, ham,
David O'Reilly, Umbris.